It's Navarro, head trader, Penny Stocks Club 13, and this is a quick watch list for Monday, February 7th, 2022. Right now we're looking at the SPY, and it's really hard to say what's gonna happen. We have the CPI report coming in, we have other reports, news going that might be bullish, that might be bearish, but at this point you can see that after it flushed, it started flagging here. We got a bear flag. It was a failed bear flag, came back up, got rejected at the 50 EMA, and right now it's sitting right on top of the 180 SMA, right? With a 20 EMA rejection. That's that purple line right there. So what we can expect here is maybe some compression, some price compression in between the SMA and the 50. And then eventually it'll pick a side depending on news and events. It's hard to predict what's going to happen, but that's why trading the SPY is more of a reactionary trade rather than a trying to pick a side. You kind of just want to go with where it goes, follow it, get a small percentage out of it, and move on. So that's the SPY. Now let's go ahead and get into some of the trades that we had this week, guys, and they're also on the watch list again. Nxtd, I don't really know how to pronounce this one. I don't know if it's Xila or Chila or whatever, but Xela, it started a nice little uptrend. You can see that right here. There's a huge increase in volume. This is relative volume. So when we're talking about relative volume, we're talking about how it relates relative to previous trading sessions, right? So if you can see the previous trading sessions, that's very low volume, and right now relatively compared to the previous trading sessions the past 2 months, the volume has increased significantly, right? So this is called relative strength volume, right? So that's what we want to see. We want to see strength in the relative volume, and right now we got this little uptrend. It's trading in between the 50 and the 20, but we got this 90 EMA crossover here where it can start making the price take off right now. And it did get rejected at the 50. It's been putting up this upper wicks, but it's also showing signs of a base right here. So basically this little curling action, which is what I like to see, if we can break yesterday's, or not yesterday's, but Friday's, this previous Friday's high right here. Let's go ahead and mark it. Let's go to the 1 day 3 minute. So it put up this kind of double top right here. So if we can break this 0.8350-ish level, okay, then I think we're good to go for maybe a 1 or 2 day run, in my opinion. So we'll see if Xela does make that kind of move. It did bounce after market, so hopefully we can get a little bit of a gapper tomorrow morning, Monday, and we'll take it from there. So that's Xela. BBI, this one was another trade that we had, I believe somewhere here. It was successful. Right now look at this price action, guys, on low volume though, so it's kind of iffy, right, if it's gonna go. But what can we expect here? Well, maybe that 50 and 20 compression, where the price gets compressed and then all of a sudden it just takes off. So I would like to take an entry as soon as it breaks this 50 EMA. I'm gonna go ahead and set an alert. That would be around the 28-cent level. That's where I would like to take an entry, just for a little bit of confirmation. Okay, so that's what I would like to see. Now let me create this right with the price level there we go. So I think it already triggered the alarm. There we go. Unless it's already over 28 cents, is that correct? Let's go ahead and check the 1 day 3 minute. No, it's not, but I do have an alert already there. So that's what we want to see. We want to see this rejection get broken, that 28 cent level, not only because it was a rejection, but it's also because it's right on the 50 EMA right there, the 28 cent level. If it breaks there, then it can continue moving higher. That's BBI. And I believe I didn't trade that much this week. There was not a lot of good setups. ARDS. So this one was a 2 day swing. I believe we entered here, and right now, it's broke out of the 50 EMA, so it's still good. I think it might continue going higher. I think that's what's gonna happen, and I do have some in the small account. I believe I have about 150. I have a 50 limit sell at over 267, and then I'll probably trade the rest or sell the rest at $3 if it gets there. So I like that it's making this little move. Probably we'll get something like this where it just takes off. Hopefully something like this gets rejected, and then we're gonna see that upper wick. So just for entertainment purposes right now, let's go ahead and activate this, and this is how it might look. I don't know. We get the little, so something like this, a candle that'll look something like this. But again, this is just predictions. This is not what's gonna happen, or I mean, I'm assuming it's not. So let's just go ahead and delete those alerts. Alright, so that's 8 ARDS. I'm still holding it. I know some took profits at 250, which is good. You always want to take profits, and there's always another way to come in. If it breaks 250, you can trade it all the way to 3. That's another 15-20% return. Lkco, guys, this one is on watch. It's making higher lows, or it seems that it's starting to reverse. Volume starting to increase slightly, but you know, I still would like some confirmation, maybe over the 20 EMA, and that'll give us a 25% move up to the 50 EMA. That's Lkco. SPIR also, guys, starting to make higher lows. Now all of these patterns are oversold because, you know, that's basically the rotation right now. The penny stocks, they got crushed, and now they're starting to reverse, and that's the way we want to see most of the trades, right? When they're starting to reverse, we want to get those pops, get in, get out, look for something else. PBTS, I like this one. I actually like this one a lot. It's got a nice little very short range right now, but if we look at previous history, guys, so let's just look at this little 2 days, right? It's just probably a day trade. Gets rejected at the 50, gets rejected at the 50. So I would like to enter when it breaks 20 and then hit that move to 60 cents. Get in, get out, move on to the next one. VTNR, same thing. Little V shape right here. Price above the 50 EMA. Possible move to $6 around there where there's previous rejections here. And of course the 180 SMA right above it. But all indicators right now, the 20, the 9, the 180, all pointing upwards, which is a little divergence, right? We got the price going down, but we got the 180 going up, and now we got this the 20 and the 50 EMA starting to move up as well. So that's something we would like to see. We like to see in indicators when we're trading, right? Nxtd, this one basically oversold again, and the same thing, guys, gets rejected, rejected, and then right here try to cup, move out, but it gives us a trend line, right? Now we have a little trend line, so that's something we can look forward to. If it breaks over 50, the 50 EMA, all the way up to this trend line, about a 15-20% return depending on your entry. That's Nxtd. Also, I believe this one is if I'm correct, I believe it has exposure to Bitcoin and all of that. So not the best or the top on my list, but still something we got to look out for. Of course, since they are connected to Bitcoin, we got to look at that as well. And I really don't follow Bitcoin or any other cryptos, which I probably should start, but news is that they're crashing big time, so I just don't see why I need to get into that right now. ORTX, so broke above the 9, held the 9, held the 9. You can see that pattern. Now if it breaks the 50, guys, it's got wide open room all the way up here, guys. So, you know, set your alerts, be ready for this kind of moves, and remember that you want to look for those EMAs to become resistance and then eventually become support. So right now, like I just mentioned, the 9 was resistance. So if we look back, resistance, 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 the 9 is the yellow, resistance, resistance, then it broke, and now it's support, support. So there's a little change of behavior that we talk about in the stocks. Now that behavior has changed, where the 9 used to be resistance, now it's support, and now we got price above the 20 EMA, which is the purple line. Now we can see that hopefully that 20, 15, 20 EMA price compression, and then the breakout. So we'll see how it goes. We do see here a rejection on the 50 EMA, so we can expect a little bit of resistance there. If we get through resistance, guys, then maybe a 1-2 day run, or maybe more, right? Sometimes they just start looking for support, and if they find that support above the 50 EMA, then we can start going in. So I do have a whole bunch of alerts set here, and we'll see if ORTX recent good PR on this one as well. So maybe, you know, that's something that can trigger for the next 3 to 4 days. CALA. So again, huge move, and now you got the 9 and the 20 acting as support, guys, and we want to see that huge volume and then decreasing volume. Of course, I would love the flag up here, but maybe we can get a little curling action that I like. So I want to say buy zone somewhere here between this high or this red candle here, the top of the red candle, this breakdown candle, maybe that opening price and this high on Friday. That would be a good buy zone, right? Because now you got two little catalysts that can react. So this would be a little buy zone around the 57 cent 58 cent levels. That would be your buy zone, and then hopefully a move to that 50 EMA that would give us, let's say you enter at the top at 58 cents, a 22 23 24% return, which is not bad. That's actually really good. BCDA. Reason I like this one is it did get rejected. I don't like that, but it's trading above. The price has closed twice above the 50 EMA, so maybe a move right here for a day trade. And if it opens or if it closes near this high, so basically I would like to see a candle with a strong close like this. This would be a continuation for me. In my opinion, this would be a swing trade, so we can enter here, hopefully an afternoon setup where the price starts moving higher, closer to this high, and now we can enter here in the anticipation that it's going to break that high, that resistance level, and make a move higher. So what is our return on investment at 230? That would be about a 20% return to the 280 290 cent level. So again, you got to make sure that when you're going to take a trade, it's worth your time and effort, right? And you want to make sure that the setup is there. So again, you got to start looking for things that are gonna, or stocks that are gonna be worth your time and investment. Now, the quicker they make the return, then the better, because that way you take your money, move on to another setup, and not be exposed to something that might crash out of nowhere. And finally, BEST, guys. Now this is a good flag. We got this huge increase in volume, and you see how we have decreasing volume. That's a good flag setup in my opinion. So now we do have a little bit of a trend line right here, right? So now we establish a trend line. So if it breaks over that trend line, then that would be our entry, and we want to see that breakout 110, possibly 115 for a 25, 20, 26% return. Guys, that is all I have for you. We'll catch you in the next one.